let's talk about our speaker today. So, just a minute, please. Our speaker today is a global sales growth authority who is based in Dubai, Chief Strategist Officer of 10x Sales by RoofTop, business sales strategist, sales and strategy consultant. She helps businesses to win profitable clients consistently and even in the tough time, and plus helps business owners to enjoy stress-free time as they deserve. In her 18th years of global sales experience, she has achieved over 100 million in sales revenue and 10 sales mastery. So she helps C-level executive entrepreneurs and sales managers of Fortune 100 and 500 companies to not only automate profitable business and revenue, but also equip them with a tool to lead, teach, and inspire team to self-accountability and peak performance. Yes, guys, I would like to welcome our our speaker today. Very special speaker. I'm really excited about it because I myself been in sales and marketing for 10 years, and I'm really excited to learn from her. Let's invite our speaker today, Alifiya Sura. Yes, Alifiya, please. I'll stop sharing my screen now.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Let me just make sure everything works. I've had a little teething issues with my laptop today. Thank you very much, Ibran and Avil and the entire awesome team of Dubai Jobs Hunt and Empowerment Talks and Brainciti. You guys are doing some brilliant work. And it's awesome that you're bringing so many people together and adding so much value. I'm so proud of being here. And I congratulate all of you to do all this good work that you're doing for the sake of the community and helping the community out at this time in these stressful times. I'm sure we're all going to come out of this super strong and super well. In my small way, I'm so proud to be giving a little bit of few tips of to the people of the Dubai Jobs Hunt and see how I can add value to your community. What I'm invited here to speak about is how to sell yourself and how we can get over this pandemic, with smiles on our face, and that's important, right? So just a very quick one is just for the next 40 minutes. Let's not multitask. There is no such thing as multitasking. We only end up screwing up multiple things at the same time. I encourage you all to have your videos up. One thing about showing up, this is the new world, and I would invite you all to show up and put your videos on so that we talk to people in this virtual environment. Take notes, chat and engage. We can do a lot of chatting and communicate during the talk in the chat. If you like any ahas, if you get any takeaways, do share a diamond in the end, and we normally like to do that. We will try and have a question answer session in the end as well. So hopefully we'll have time for that, and that's planned. Just a quick one is, who am I, why me? This is the question that you all want to ask yourself. So when you're going out there to position yourself and to sell yourself, what is important is who am I and why me? And that's the most important thing that you want to do. Typically, what best thing is to show pictures and show images, show something that can combine and emotionally connect with your audience. Okay, so this is something that is very important. So something about your pictures, about your experiences, about your everything that you've done normally helps. But let me dive in now what I'm trying to cover today. Interestingly, 70% of the people who are already employed right now are looking for a new job. On an average, every job offer that a corporate is running attracts more than 250 resumes. For one post, the minimum offers people get is 250. In fact, during this pandemic, that number has only doubled. So for the same post that earlier people used to get 250, today get about 500. More than 75% of the resumes are rejected before they even reach the hiring manager. Now, what do I mean by this? 75% of the resumes of the applications that go in are not even reaching the hiring manager. So the context of this topic that I'm talking about today is how to help people job hunt, because the entire theme of Dubai Jobs Hunt is to get people recruitment. And I am assuming that a lot of people are trying to look for jobs and get themselves placed. Now, what is really happening in this market? Why are 75% of the resumes even rejected before they reach the hiring manager? It's because of the fancy technology called ATS, application tracking systems. So you're not even heard and you're not even seen if you don't have the right technology in your resume, which is very advanced today, right? So let me assume that 500 applications during this pandemic that is going through the ATS, only 5 applications out of hundreds actually get a face-to-face interview. Only 1 gets the job. That's the number talk. I want to know from you, how many of you are job hunting right now? Let's put in the chat. How many of you, if you are job hunting, say I in the chat. One, two. Okay. How many of you know at least one person in your network who has been also job hunting? If you are not yourself job hunting, who else in your network, do you know at least one person in your network who is job hunting? So the next question I want to ask you is, since when? A week? A few months? Thanks, Anita. So how many of you know someone who's been job hunting for more than a year? Since years, even more than few years. Amazing. So here's some more numbers. 77% of recruiters rely on LinkedIn. 54% of employers have rejected candidates based on only their social media profiles. Can you believe that? I mean, even in a job hunt. So what's the way out? Or should we say, what's the only way out? Now, Good News is a Hindi movie, right? So when I was looking for good news, I had pregnant women, right? So I'm just having some fun. So yeah. But the good news is that 60% of jobs are found not online, but through networking. Okay, 60% of people get hired through networking, not purely online. So no matter what those numbers were all this time, a little bit of sales skill and a little bit of mind opening about what you can do and how do you make the most out of that networking events that you're going to can actually get you guys hired. Agree? If anyone's excited, write excited in the chat. And if you want to know more, I'm all game to share it with you. That's the challenge. Yeah. Excited? Excited? Yeah. Cool. All the people who said you know someone who needs a job or is helping, is looking for something for yourself. Yeah. Cool. Excited. Yeah. Cool. Right? Awesome. So don't get dejected by everything that we've seen, all those numbers till now. The real game is starting only now. It's all about networking. It's all about, let's bring back the human touch. Stop hiding behind those screens today and set yourself apart from the competition. 5 steps. First of all, do your homework, which is important. Yeah, the human touch, yes, Sushma. So it is important that you consciously look around for what you want to do and do your research. Now, how you do that is, I always feel that a job is more about who you get to be when you're doing that job. People today are randomly applying, especially LinkedIn. Oh my God, it can be a nightmare. People are just randomly applying to anything and everything. But the question really is, can we be selective? Can we choose your own prospect? So when you're talking about a little bit of a sales lingo, you want to purposely go and focus on companies that you know will benefit from what you can bring to the table. And in the process, you are also becoming what you want to become. Can you all see my full screen?
Yes, we do.
Screen, huh? Okay, cool. All right. You can see my full PowerPoint, right, guys?
Yes.
Full screen. Okay, awesome. So job is more about who you get to be when you are doing that. And the point is who you want to be and who you get to be is the real you. So you want to be shopping for the kind of things that you really enjoy. This is called target marketing in the sales lingo. And it starts before you go job posting. Okay. Next is your elevator pitch. Everything about a sales strategy on a job hunt, and you need to look at this as a sales strategy, is your elevator pitch. Who are you and who do you want to help? Why you is what you want to understand. And one tip of doing that is you want to identify your why. Where do you want to see yourself fit? And why do you want to do that positioning? So go back to your past and see what you've truly enjoyed doing. What is it that you will be woken up in the middle of the night to do, and you will not say, ooh, ouch. So now we're not just going to be falling into hope or falling into, identify who is your target avatar. Identify which company do you reckon yourself being with. Because guess what? You're going to be spending 12 hours, 8 to 10 hours anybody spends in a job, which is away from your family. And you don't just want to be into any place that you get. So if you consciously believe that you're going to fit into a certain place, then that's the sort of companies I want. So if you can take a few minutes right now, just like 30 seconds or so, and list down a few companies that you feel you belong to, where you know that you are going to add value to them. So let's do that very quickly. So let's take this as an exercise where you can list the companies you want to be with. Can we do that? Can you take a 30-second to just sort of list the companies? List a company
yes.
where you want to be?
Yes, definitely. For the job seeker, it will be very good exercise.
Yes.
So everyone, you have a 30-second, and let's make a list of the company which you wanna, which we are targeting for.
Okay. Ready? Always wanted to work at a Dubai airport, Emirates. Yeah.
Emirates.
Because I love to travel.
Nice. Stephen,
Great.
Google. Wow.
Microsoft, Apple, Bose, Google. Awesome. 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 Premier Inn, hotels. All right. Anti-corruption. Me, rooftop sale. Hey, Santosh. You're hired. You're hired. Shell. Awesome. Now the next point is, how do you reach the decision maker? Okay. Now I must tell you one thing. It's not about what you know. It's about who you know that matters. And if you attend some of my sales workshops, I encourage everybody to become the arrogant salesperson. I mean, call it bad, but it's the arrogant salesperson who know their way around. And that's where the arrogance comes from. So I know some people are HR here, but I'm going to say something you don't like now. So recruiters or HRs are only gatekeepers. Most times they're not the ones who are the final decision makers. So if you want to spend time with recruiters and HR, become pally with them, you're already wasting your time. Okay, so I'm happy Avil is already saying bang on. I thought he's going to throw me out of this room right now. So typically what happens is you want to figure out who's running your department, who are you going to report to? And then you want to try and find them, fish them, try and meet them and connect with them. So everyone who's at Emirates or Shell or all those big companies, try and find out which department is your next step. Which one do you fit in? And try and find your line managers, your colleagues, and those are the kind of people you want to try and find a way to reach out to. And when you connect with them, they are the ones who value you much more than the HR manager who's going to be looking and fishing through your, there are Chrome extensions like Hunter, which will help you find the email addresses that you need from the website of the company. So, these are small tricks and tips, and do not waste your time not talking to the decision maker. If it takes a longer time, first of all, once you've identified your company avatar that you want to work with, a list of them, then you get to the decision maker directly. Next, when you finally meet them, this is not only just for people who are looking for a job, this is a universal problem. People, even companies, even salespeople will go and yap. I am this, I'm from here, this company, this testimonial, this is what we do. Oh, we are the best, we've won that one. Doesn't work, guys. Stop talking. It's about asking the right questions. You want to have a two-way conversation. Stop being a victim. Stop feeling small. It's about feeling big. You're there equal. You become a part of the team. You need to value yourself a lot more. You're going to make life easy for the person you're talking to. And that's the mindset, that's the positioning you want to have. So it is very important that you actually start having a two-way conversations. Ask the companies questions that you want to know. Tell them what are your real pain points. Ask them where you can help them to, go into online research and prepare a few questions that you want to ask them about how did they come out of that situation. The best questions are what, why, how, when. Why do you feel that way? What caused that to happen? Why did you do that way? And how long did this entire problem last? Some things like this are extremely important. One way, which is a very classic way in sales techniques, is the spin technique. You want to ask them, what's your current situation? What are the problems you're facing? What is the gap that they want to hire you to fill? And that's the sort of understanding you want to have from them. What is the implication if they don't get you on board, or if they get someone else on board? You need to understand his world. So try and become more of a question finder, conversationalist, and that's the best sales technique for anybody. So even if you're just an employee or a company owner or whatever, don't just go pitching, talking. I do this. I did so many years of experience, came from your work there, that MNC. Nothing matters, guys. I mean, it's all about your fit in the organization that you want to belong to. And that is important. In fact, the best sales offer in a submittal that you do is only addressing the problems that the client actually raised. When it's so to the point, you are going to just get it, and everything else that you bring as a package is only a bonus. But if you can identify that main domino that person is facing and fill the gap with that, and that you cannot do by yapping and talking. You've got to learn to stop, have a conversation, have a two-way conversation, and try and identify how you're going to become the value add that will solve their problem for them. Okay, if you guys are getting aha moments, I'm proud of you guys. Okay, step 4 is now you start talking, and you don't start talking, I do this. You start with examples. So when you start your first pitch that comes out from you about who you are, you're not going to say, I am a MBA, or I'm a this education, or I am a this. None of that should come out from you. The only thing that should come out from you is examples of how you helped someone in your past company, or how that client or that customer. So everything, you need to really think through this even before you meet your potential decision maker that I'm talking about. Okay, so if you can put stories in, and stories will emotionally connect to that person. Nobody is bothered about what you studied or what you've done in the past. Who cares? How you have solved the problems that he is facing, and how relevant that you can make that conversation is what's going to kill everything for you. And you will not be suffering anymore. And you will ideally get your best company that you want to work with. Okay, guys, if this is helping, I really hope it is. So tell stories where you possibly, and quantify them, show them how it's worked. You know, hiring the wrong person, I'll tell you one thing, can be very, very expensive, especially in the Middle East. You know, the visa cost and everything that companies spend to hire the wrong person, it can be a nightmare. So I'm telling you, I recently hired a staff, and I was struggling for 3 to 4 months just to figure someone out. And then when you start doing that investments and stuff and you find out it's not the right person, you're totally, so if you can do that bonding, get to know that person, he will be more comfortable and you will come on board with a story to grow at, you know. So that's very, very important. Okay, finally, last step, fifth, is follow up. Sadly, I don't know why people just don't follow up. So I've been posting jobs on Indeed, and we've had a few conversations, we've had a few talks with someone, and some people distinctly stood out. Like they didn't even have the qualification, they are still not even the fit. And in spite of telling them repeatedly that, you know what, you have these gaps and you have the, but there are some people who consistently are following up even today after 6 months and after 8 months and stuff, and it's amazing. I actually agreed to get them on board from like February, in spite of not needing that person, just because of that consistent follow up that he's done. So the fact is that nobody is going to remember, you know, when these recruiters get so many CVs, even if they've started talking to you, they are going to forget. And unless they have a structured system with proper comments or whatever, it's the one that comes back up on the top of the pile is what's going to be remembered. And that's the one that's going to fly. I'll tell you, I even got my first ever job because of just the follow-up that I did. Because the guy who interviewed me initially, this was like, what, 20 years back, first I'm brand new in Dubai, right? I mean, married, imported, and stuff like that, looking for my first job. It took me 6 months to find my first job that time, 20 years back or so. But the guy who interviewed me was leaving the company. So he was least bothered about talking to me again. I mean, and I would follow up and stuff, and he would just, nothing would get answered, nothing would get replied, nothing. And then I tried to find the VP and I sent an email and I kept sending and it would go in trash all the time. And then when the guy actually finally hired me, he was like, you know what, if you followed up with me so many times, I can only imagine what you'd do to my customers. I mean, I wasn't even technical and I got a technology job, right? So, I mean, it just did the follow up, right? So this is a very key thing. And most people, if you seriously want, don't apply for 50 jobs, just apply for 5, but follow them up. I'm sure you will get one. There is no way you can't. Okay, so don't apply for 50 jobs. Don't go all over the damn place. Select the companies you want, and that's all you need to do. That's it. Do your homework, research, get the company you need. Go directly to the decision maker. Don't waste your time with the speed breakers, the doorkeepers and stuff like that. They're just gatekeepers. They're supposed to just do their trashing of the quantity and bring out a few. I don't even know how they do it, but you guys are geniuses how you do it, man. Don't ask, tell, make it a two-way conversation. Show how you fit, and that's only through stories. Do not just talk facts and figures. Show results, show stories, show experiences, emotionally connect with him. Talk about families. It can be, even if you've never had a job before and you don't have any testimonials, you can talk about your value system, about how you support your families or how you supported someone in school, how you supported someone in college or anything like that, or in a network firm that you are volunteering it. What leadership are you doing there? How you have success stories all the time. Just take a step back, look back into your listing. You will always have something to share. Okay. And the most important, do not forget to follow up. Okay. So have a pipeline. Okay. You've got to have a list of 10 prospects. You are the product. Everyone else becomes the buyer. Go for the close, ask for the job. Do not ever leave without asking for that position. If you think you're a misfit or whatever, ask for the position, and follow up is the main key. But the main question is, Do you have a strategy you can measure? Now, in sales, everything comes down to numbers. I mean, some people that know me in this room, they know I would put everything down to a number. Even a soft skill, even love for me comes down to a number, quantified everything. So as a salesperson, do you have a strategy you can number? I mean, you can quantify and you can measure. So sales is a game of numbers and you've got to play to win. Okay. So how many people did you reach out this week? How many new leads or companies did you contact? Yeah, Sushma, thanks. How many jobs did you apply to? How many interviews did you have? How many hours did it take you to do all this? Once you have some sort of benchmark on these, you work backwards and then you plan how fast you desperately need that job. So if you know how many hours you did to do all that, that's your bottom line number. So once you get how many hours did you do to do all this job hunt, you work backwards about how desperate are you and by when do you have funds to sustain you, so yourself and your family and your needs without having that job. And until you put a deadline and until you put a quantified number, nothing will go forward. And I can only assure you that nothing will. So what you do is, how many people do you meet in a week? Just have a matrix, an Excel sheet in front of you for a few weeks and just put numbers at the end of every day or at the end of every week. Just see how much are you doing and quantify everything. So if you're applying to 50 jobs, then you will get an idea about how sorry they are. So something is not working, right? And then you go back and rework those numbers. Everything in sales is a number. If you don't achieve your target, so even if you're on a job and you're looking for, so you're basically looking for your next buyer, your next customer, who's your next recruiter. So look at this seriously, because otherwise there's no other way that's ever going to happen. So definitely there's no universal way to guarantee that you will get a job, but some of these matrices and some of these would definitely improve the odds of winning your next job. In every job, there's a number, even if it's not a sales, of course. Even in life, even for your own savings, even for everything that you do, you need to have a number. Okay? And these are tried and tested sales techniques. We have these matrices all the time. And once we start measuring in any field that we're in, performance comes and numbers come only from there. I hope this has been valuable to all of you. And I'm open to questions.
Wow, I loved it. I loved it. There was a lot of thing as a reminder, and there are a lot of aha moment for me, and I think it is the same thing for our audience as well. So I really loved it, and not only the best thing I liked about your presentation is not only for a job, but we can apply in every aspect of life. Like we are selling something one way or another every day, isn't it? So it's really lovely. Thank you so much for sharing that. Yes, we'd like to move ahead with the question and answer session. I have a few questions already from the audience. So first of all, in a recent topic, when you talk about the follow-up, yeah, and you mentioned that you were following up with your recruiter many times, and one of our volunteer, his name is Wenzel, he asked a question that how many times we can do follow-up, because we have known some person were blocked because they were keep on doing follow-up. So what do you think, what is the standard number or way to follow up?
So when you in a normal sales number that we have, the number of follow-ups, let me ask the audience, how many times do you follow up on your job? Let's be honest. I mean, or how many times do you think you should follow up? Let the audience answer this first. Let's what numbers come out. Then I'll tell you statistics uh, of the average in the market. Zero times you have to follow up, Raj. 3 to 3.
Sushma, 3 to 5. Okay, 1,
awesome.
4.
1 time. Okay. And okay. So In sales also, for normally anything, there's only 0 point something percent that closes in the first meeting. There's less than 1% that closes in the second meeting. Close to 2% of sales close in the third meeting. Okay, but the alarm is 70% of the people stop following up after the third meeting or the third follow-up call that they do. 70% of the people stop following up after 3 reminders. Yes, 3 reminds Vishnu. Okay. 80% of sales happen in the 5th follow-up.
Wow.
70% odd happens in the 4th and the 5th follow-up, but 80% of sales happen. So even when you're looking at a job hunt as a personal this thing, 7 times is the minimum that you need to follow up. The reason why people don't do it is they run out of ideas. They don't know what to say. Like, oh, I already asked about the weather. Last time I asked him about his family. Now what do I call now? And now what am I going to ask about? So people normally just run out of ideas about what to call and do in a follow-up call, right?
Exactly,
So,
exactly.
and that's the reason they avoid doing it altogether. But the fact is, you need at least 5 reminders for human to work and work in your and look at you more actively. So provided it's the right fit, if you follow up with people that just probably you don't fit at all, then obviously he's going to throw you out of the door. But if you've done your need analysis, if you've done your qualification correctly, if you know that you fit properly, then there is no harm in following up. If you're convinced that you are going to bring value and he's going to benefit with your services, that if he gets you on board, then you should not, then that extra follow-up is not going to make you stop you. And that's why I say, when you say find your passion and see what you do and why you do, and be convinced about what you want to become from that job. When you're convinced with that mindset, then that extra calling and embarrassing, it's not going to feel like an embarrassment anymore, because you will go with that conviction that you are going to help that person out and you are the fit and you can solve problems for your business employer that you will get on board with, and that's not going to hurt you anymore. But follow up is key. 7 times minimum. 5 to 6 to 7 is the key number.
One of the thing you highlighted, which is I experience as well, sometimes we run out of idea how to follow up. I think this is the one I think we should ponder on and find a creative way to follow up. And definitely, if we are confident within ourselves, definitely, we're presenting ourselves boldly and effectively, and that will definitely lead to success. Amazing. Thank you so much. So
I'll give you a tip on that, Gibran, is how
yeah.
to follow up 7 times. Use different modalities. So once it can be a WhatsApp, once it can be an article that you share, once it could be some value add that you're sharing. So it need not always be, hello, please give me my job. It's about helping that person. So if you're giving him something, some research document or something else, you come on top of his mind again. So it's about adding value to your employer. And that's the creative way to follow up. So the 7 to, normally you can go up to 12 times also if you're creative with it. Once send an email, once send a social media post, once connect with him on LinkedIn, congratulate on him on something or the other to stay on top of his mind. If you do that creatively, it will not look like you're pushy and desperate.
Great.
That's the tip.
There was my aha moment just now. You said, we're just maybe when we're following up, we just say, oh, hey, what's happening, with my application and something. But when you say that, if there's any research or tips we share with them, okay, what can help their business, how you can provide value to them. So I think, yeah, that's lovely. Okay. Another question is, what do you think, according to you, what holds a job seeker individually to sell themselves effectively?
What holds back the job
Yeah,
seeker
job
from
seekers.
selling themselves effectively?
Yeah.
I think it just needs a conviction. If you really want it, you can. But I think most of the times they do it wrong,
Hmm.
and because they don't succeed, because it doesn't land well, and then you start feeling demotivated, and then you feel stressed about it, and then you don't want to do it the next time. So that's what normally holds, because they've had a bad experience or something. But rejection is the game of, you know, so again, how to avoid that is, again, if you know, you're convinced about why you fit and things, it's all coming back to your mindset. The more robust your foundation is, your why, the more thick skin, if you will you be.
Knowing yourself properly,
Yeah.
strongly.
So yeah, and that thick skin comes from that conviction. So if you're not being able to go back, then you are probably missing something.
Good. Here's another question. I have it. Now, what do you think? If you recently said that you about your job interview, yeah. So what do you think? What was your most challenging job interview, and why was that?
So my first job interview was the most challenging, because I had just got married. I was very young,
Mhm.
and I started selling from a very young age of 16, literally. So I used to sell for pocket money. I used to sell, like, mobile SIM cards, and I would get pocket, every SIM card I would sell after school or after college, I would get 25 rupees, which is like 50 cents, in dollars. So I started selling very early. And in India, when I was young, I had, because you keep going and selling, you build this network, and then someone knows someone, and someone knows someone, and it was cool, right? So, I mean, so I had like 6 years experience before I, graduated and stuff, like a full-time sales experience, right? But when I came to Dubai, it was very different here. Like, everybody is not an Indian. And then, I'm arranged marriage, so I don't know much my family either. And everything is like, culture is different, and these Arabs are everywhere, and Americans and Europeans and stuff. So you couldn't just find my feet in the floor, right? And I'm sure many of you are new in Dubai and were once new in Dubai. And so I actually went Googling, and I started working for DTCM, Dubai Tourism, for free. Like, literally, because I was an MBA and stuff. So they gave me a job, and I said, yeah, like, let me just work for free, right? So I was working with them for free, and I learned a few things about the culture. But then when I went for my first job interview, what I noticed is he actually asked me, so this was the same guy who stopped answering my calls because he was leaving the company anyway. And he thought I was not technical enough to get into that technology sales company. So then when I finally reached the vice president, because I mean, I kept emailing and I kept calling and the landline and things like that. And then the vice president finally took the call, and he was like fed up, he was like, what is this kid, who is just calling again and again and stuff. And, she's not technical. Okay, let me call her. So he just called me in. And then when he saw my resume, he was like, your last three job experiences were 18 months. Because when I was in my senior college, I would work for 1.5 years. Then the final exams, my mother would make me leave that job. And because I had to study for final exams. Then for my final junior college, again, I had an 18-month job experience. And then after my college, after my MBA, I again had an 18-month because I got married and I had to move to Dubai. So the VP is like, so you're going to work with me for 18 months, right? And I was like, why would you say that? He was like, your last 3 jobs are all 18 months. So, I mean, obviously you're not going to live, you're not going to survive here for more than, and I was like, oh my God, but that wasn't intentional, and I had to really, so I think that was my toughest.
That's interesting story. Yeah, thanks for sharing. So another question is, what is that one thing which worked for you, and uh, in any selling situation, and you want our audience to implement for that improvement?
So I'm gonna stick to the job hunt concept, because I know that's the context of this group out here, and that's your intention and that's your goal. So I want to try and stick to that. Um, so what was my biggest success? What worked for me and what I tried doing is, after a point, I started auctioning my sales offer letters. So, like, offer letters, job offer letters that I started getting, I would just pick, for the sake of picking from any company, an offer letter, and then I would use it to go to the company that I wanted to work with. and then I would use another competitor just for the sake of showing it. And I mean, this is just about psychology, so when you work in sales for a while, you understand that you don't want to beg for orders and beg for business, right? So
True,
when you
true.
have your pipeline, when you can do this arrogantly is when you have enough. So when your pipeline is big enough and you have enough, then you can go, because you're not like begging, like, so just go pick anything that comes and then pick another one, and then you play the competition to each other, like you're like, okay, even if you're
Mm.
technical, you're like, all right, if you don't want it, it's fine, but I'm going to look at your competition, and or look at, he's offering me this, and look, he's offering. So that sort of was fun when I could do it successfully. So after a point, it was really fun. And I landed into Samsung like that,
Um,
because I had offers from
wow.
LG, and then I
Mhm.
had offers from, and then I finally picked Samsung, but I had taken a consultancy just offer letter, and I just like, had three offer letters at a point of time, and I was playing with all three of them.
Great, great. So you mean you showed yourself to any employer that you are a person with more option. You're not just depending on them.
Yeah. So, I mean, of
Great.
course, you don't want to join that company, but it's fun to do that.
Yeah, sometimes we should take risk also, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, let's move on to another question. So here's another question from the audience. Let's say you talk about that before we started telling about ourselves. We should ask a few questions. So what kind of question that would be?
So ideally, you should research a little bit beforehand. I'm sure everyone knows that's a common sense thing. Uh,
True.
but what you want to do is you want to become a friend, or you want to emotionally. All sales decisions are done emotionally. Nothing is logically done. So it's about rapport building. So you want to get personal with that person. I mean, you want to know him on a personal level. You want to know him, why he does what he does. Like, what is important. He wants to. So everyone has certain needs, right? I mean, you want to identify and connect with him on that emotional level. Where is success more important? Does he want to do well in his position? What is his need in his position? So does he want to do well because he wants to get a promotion, or does he want to do well because he wants to look good in front of his friends, or does he want to just do well because money is important and he needs that job? Sometimes people are insecure and they just need that job. And so what are his values, and what's important for him? And when you can connect with him, and then when you give your success stories and your pitch, they need to be relevant to what this guy's needs are. So when you can connect with him on that level of rapport, that's when he wants you, like he just wants you.
Yeah. True,
So
true,
it's
true.
not more about the company or anything. People just do a Google of the company and stuff, but what you want to know is your recruiter, your employer, your department head, who you're going to work with, and what are his values, what are his sports he likes, or what's his highest achievement been, what's his failure been, how did he feel about it, why did it take him so long to solve. Those are the sort of things that will connect you with him better, and that's what will make you win. So it's always a personal connect. Everything is personal. Nobody buys products from companies. People buy from people. So your people connection, when it comes, that's when you're unstoppable then.
So true, so true. Right now I'm remembering a lot of things. Being in sales, and I remember a quote saying that a person with good sales skill, that person can be successful anywhere in the world, because everywhere you're selling something. Yeah, great,
Yeah,
great.
you need
Um,
that for all the time. Yeah.
yes, isn't it? Yeah. So here's a question from the audience: how do we sell our idea? I think it's a very generic question.
How do you sell your idea? So sales is about persuading. It's about getting people onboarding with your vision and your mission. So you need sales even if you're just a department head. You need
Mhm.
sales when you're even a head of your family. Like, how can you get you need sales when you're a mother who's trying to get the room cleansed by their children.
True.
So it's about how do you sell your idea, right? So how do you convince, as a father too, right? Yeah, of course. Uh, so yeah, so I mean, sales is like if you want investors on board, or it's just about techniques of persuasion normally. And how it works is when you identify what works and what doesn't. So when you sell your idea, I feel it all starts with conviction about why it's important. And when you look at it with the opposite person's perspective about how he will, uh, how it's going to impact him and his life, when you go beyond your own borders and you see how relevant it will be to the opposite person that you're pitching to, that's when it changes everything. And that's why we say ask, don't talk, don't tell too much. Just ask, and then whatever is important for the opposite person, that's the pitch you do. And that's what, you know, it's not about selling ice to the Eskimo for sure. It's just about understanding what he needs and what he and how you
Mm.
make your pitch relevant to whatever he needs. And that should be the only thing you pitch. So as a company, also when people are salespeople, they have those 15 points of all their features and benefits, and they want to just go and say it. But sorry, it's only
True.
three that is relevant for that person. Just say those three. That's it. Email the rest as a bonus. That's all you need. The big domino is going to fall when you get that one thing sorted, and that's all it matters.
True, true. So the key factor is make it relevant to the situation and the person and the situation. Great.
Yeah, everything is customer centric.
Cool. We have one of the question from our volunteer, Stephen. He says, when it is a director level, CEO, company management, etc. Level job, how do we close that deal? The 7-time follow-up would work, or what is the strategy?
So when it's a management level job as a CEO, how do you close that? Like how do you win that or job? That's what you're saying. The top tier. Can you
Yes,
repeat
I
that
think he,
question?
he means that. Hold on, let me refer to the question. Yeah, when it is a director level job, I think when we're applying for that level, I think that's what Stephen
Yeah.
means. And
Seven.
does this 7-step follow, 7-time follow-up works?
So it always works, and that's the only thing that works. Nothing closes without the follow up. But it's about decision maker also. So who are you talking to? It's not just about follow up, right? So sometimes when
Yes.
you're talking to maybe the existing president or something who's already, he's probably not the right decision maker. So what is important is, are you talking to the right decision makers? Are you talking to the board of directors? Are you talking to the shareholders? Are you talking to the stake carrier, the one who's carrying the stake? So many times, even in a normal decision making platform, you are talking to the wrong people. So if you're just talking
Mm.
to the HR and expecting that CEO level job to come, I mean, God bless you. But really, when you are talking to the right people and
Mm.
you're talking
Yeah.
to multiple people in the decision making this thing, and you normally have different people who have their different values. So you want to
Mm.
tap everybody. So when it becomes a high ticket sale, like a C-level
Mm.
sale or a higher the
Yeah.
value and stuff like that,
Mm.
you've got to tap multiple decision makers. It will not happen with just talking to one or two people. And unless you've tapped all of that, um, you will need to, yeah. So that's, I hope I
True,
answered
true, true.
the
Yeah.
question.
Yeah. I hope you get an answer, Stephen. There's another question in the chat box. Hold just a minute. Let me refer to it. McLoy, I think I pronounced your name right, I guess. He says, "Hi, Jivan. I'm from an IT profession. How can I sell myself from my side in this situation?"
So he's in the IT profession as a technician, and he wants to
McLoy,
sell. Yeah.
would you please elaborate that? You can write that in the chat box.
So I'm into the technology field as well. So I mean, I'm
Yeah,
not technically
yeah.
educated.
Because it's not very clear that how you want, like you want to sell yourself as an employer or your service. Would you please if you clarify that, it will be very easy to answer. IT support, he says.
And he's looking for a job.
Technical. Are you looking for a job, McLoy, or you want to promote your service? That's what you mean. Yes, I think he's looking for a job. He
So
says
as an
yes.
IT support, you want to
Looking
see
for a job.
which department head you're going to be supporting. So As IT support, sometimes depends on which level you're at. Are you going to lead the department, or are you going to look for supporting that department? So if you're going to lead that department, you want to talk to the C levels who get stuck with technology problems. It can be painful, right? And then if you're supporting that department, then you want to look at the IT managers or the IT leaders or whatever. And those are the people you want to go and meet and show your services to. You want to identify who are the customers that they cater to. So from your success stories, you're going to be talking about which customers have you worked with, or where could you add value, or the problems that some customers on your technology field was facing, or your past experiences or whatever, how you help them to overcome that, how fast you could do it, if you saved any money for them by offering a solution. Did you avoid them to getting new softwares, or just tweak it for them? So those are the success stories that you want to make, which will be more relevant to that person. So instead of just saying I'm educated with 3 degrees or 2 diplomas or whatever, instead of that, if you can just make it more relevant in terms of outcomes and results that you could bring to that person, it will be useful. So, and you can talk about how accessible you are, how reliable you are, um, and rather than just saying I'm always available and stuff, show examples that I could go at 11 o'clock and got it solved, and the government was happy. Or sometimes I like to even play with them about customers that they don't have. And everyone who wants to have certain for example RTA or Dubai police, and you can say, oh, I went and solved it, and then you make him feel small, that he doesn't have that to him, but maybe you could bring that to him. So that sort of a thing when technical support, because sometimes you don't understand how those networks work. So what technology works in certain departments and certain industries, that may be the dream industry that that employer wants to get into, and you come with that specialty. So, but yeah, it's the same rules. Yeah, I mean, you can say differently, but just go look for the person you're going to be reporting to, or you're going to be working under, who will have most relevance to your skills.
Thank you so much for answering that. 𝗏𝗏𝗏, I hope this answers your question. So, I'm being respectful of the time, and I'll take just 2 questions now, and then we'll move forward. So, I have another question: is, do we have any tips for the job seekers? Most of our audience are job seekers. Any tips to enhance their selling skill on their interviews?
I think the 5 tips that I shared in the presentation is what would be most mindful about. All starts with the right research, all starts with identifying the right decision maker, and then making it relevant for them. And at the end of it, the most important tip you can have is do the number math. Like, quantify how many people you're talking, what's working, what's not, see your conversion rate, see your and that's pretty much what we shared in the presentation. So that's, I think, the best thing. If you apply that, I'm sure your success rate will increase at least 50%, if not 100.
Right. So you mean you're stressing on the point that we keep everything on black and white, so we can see our progress, where we are, and what are the steps we have done.
Yeah. So once you have that black and white, have a deadline, have a target, and then work backwards, and that will make everything work.
Thank you. Is there let's say this is the last question I'm asking to you. Is there any resources you want to share with our audience, which will help them to improve their skill in terms of job seeking?
Look for elevator pitch videos online if you like. So elevator pitch is important. How you can make yourself, who am I, why me? These are the 2 things that you want to know. And if you can get that scripted, if you're a job seeker, you need to ideally have a script which is memorized by every letter and every, you need to just. So for my trainees, coach, the people that we train, they all know I call them in the middle of the night and say, hey, now tell me your elevator pitch. And then we say good night, So for anyone and everyone, you need to memorize your elevator pitch to the to every letter. It's not something that you say on the spot and you make it up on the spot. You need to memorize it completely. So look for videos, script your elevator pitch, and it's very easy. I mean, it's just about who am I, why me. That's what you want to. So in your first introduction, your first line with 15 words, 15 to 20 words, that's all it takes. Just be able to say that, and then ask questions. That's all you do. Then you just ask questions and understand the person inside out, and that's the success strategy.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I would say this will be the all the questions, so we'd like to move ahead. Let me share my PPT.
𝗔𝗯𝗶𝗃𝗃, I'll just say one
Yes.
thing. We normally do a lot of free trainings on sales for everyone, and I feel sales is the number one skill, and it's the most important one that can get you maximum return on investment. So we do a lot of free trainings. So if you like, contact us and we will invite you to a free training. The next one I'm doing is on Sunday night at 7 p.m. So I would invite you all to go to my website, rooftopsales.com, and sign up for a free training. You get some new tips all the time, and we do different topics. So if you like to learn more about sales, join in for that.
Sure. Actually, I have visited your website, and that 10x sales masterclass. I was really interested on that one. I will definitely log into that, and will. Yes, Alifiya has shared her website and the phone number as well. Guys, connect with her if you want to learn more about it. It's not only for job seeking, and if you go to that website, you will see how much resource she has to share when it comes to sale. Yeah, thank you so much. Let me share my screen now. Just a minute.
Biju is saying I ignore your question, which is very relevant. Millions.
Yeah. Alifiya, thank you so much. By the way, you came in spite of your busy time, your schedule. You came here to share with us your valuable knowledge, and definitely not only job seekers. There are a lot of people have benefited from this situation. So here I have a virtual bouquet for you as our gratitude from Dubai Job Summit.
Thank you so much. I really enjoyed, and I hope you guys enjoyed as much. It was complete pleasure talking and sharing the little bit that we've learned in our journey. And thank you for being such an awesome audience. And thank you guys for inviting me for this beautiful opportunity.
Yeah. Actually, I feel so grateful to connect with you, by the way. And I would just like to have a feedback from you. How did you feel to come here in this platform and interacting with our audience? What is your feeling?
I've known Nabil for a while now, and I feel you guys are doing such a beautiful cause, this entire thing, and this couldn't be a better timing, right? So, and there's no doubt on how the community is growing, and it's brilliant what you're doing, and selflessly giving time. I think time, I always say, everyone knows I say time is more valuable than money, because time is something that never comes back. But to selflessly give this dedicated time with, with the entire thing, with even Brainciti and all you volunteers who are just giving that extra time. I mean, I think it's hats off to you guys. Yeah. Really, really hats off. I mean, I think I would do this 1,000 times if I had the support.
Thank you so much for your feedback. And to make this session successful, there is a huge effort of our volunteers here as well, and I'd like to thank our volunteers for making this session successful, and our lovely audience. Because of you, we exist here. And thank you so much for your participation, and thank you so much for sharing love and support to Dubai Jobs Hunt, and to the interacting with the speakers so friendly way. Thank you so much, and definitely we love to see you again. Yes, if you like to know more, and if you need any help, you can connect with the Dubai Jobs Hunt in our Facebook group, on Telegram, uh, and on even on Instagram as well. Yes, you can visit our website www.dubaijobshunt.com. It is not only you can register yourself, and and there are a lot of jobs which is available. We are posted there, and you can directly apply from there as well. And you can have a lot of videos over there to learn and grow from directly from our founder, 𝗵𝗵𝗁.